Alan Krueger, noted economist who served Obama, has died. Princeton did not disclose the cause of death. Krueger, 58, devoted much of his research to the job market and, in particular, to the impact of a minimum wage. His work concluded. After serving as a Labor Department economist under President Bill Clinton, Krueger worked for President Barack Obama as a top Treasury official and then as chairman of the Council of Economic Advisers from 2011 to 2013. Cecilia Rouse, Dean of Princeton's Woodrow Wilson School for Public Policy and International Affairs, said she first met Krueger during the 1980s when she was a student at Harvard University and he was a graduate student there. Krueger had been teaching at Princeton since 1987. His research he also applied his economic work to some unconventional areas, from terrorism to the music industry. Krueger found, while serving under Obama, Krueger developed and popularized the concept of the Great. The curve was named after F. Scott Fitzgerald's iconic literary character Jay Gatsby, who rose from being a poor Midwestern boy to a wealthy bootlegger. But Krueger was perhaps best known for his research on the minimum wage with David Cardinal. Their 1990, widely admired in both economic and political circles, Krueger was known as an avid tennis player and for frequently taking time to discuss the nuances of public policy with reporters. Gene Sperling, who worked with Krueger in the Obama administration as the director of the National Economic Council, tweeted that he was, just Alan.
Raindrop, drip, drop top, top smoking, no cooking the hot pot. Fucking on your bitch, yeah, that.